Have you ever seen something from the corner of your eye that wasn't there when you looked again? How about hearing from a friend of a friend that while they were hiking somewhere, they thought they saw something impossible, but when they spoke to a ranger, there was always a simple explanation that left you unsatisfied? My name is Jack, and this is my colleague Chris, and we're senior wardens for the Creature Conservation Initiative. We protect the world from the creatures of superstition and myth, but more importantly, protect those same creatures from the world. Hello there, people. How are you doing? How is everyone doing out there in podcast listener land, or Earth, or outer space, or whatever? I'm not really sure what to say on that one. I kind of started going somewhere and didn't really know where I was going. But
I know that feeling.
How are you all? How are you all doing? And Chris, more importantly, my wonderful colleague, how are you doing?
Well, I am banned from podcast listener land for political reasons, but other than that, I'm doing great. Slightly melting again in the summer heat, but other than that, just sweaty as always. How are you?
I'm doing okay, actually. The heat has kind of backed off a little bit over here in the UK, so it's not as bad as it used to be, or as it was at one point, that's for sure. I mean, earlier this week, I just basically was trying to hide from the sun. However, I have also been stuck in the sun a little bit over the last couple of weeks because of the creature that we're talking about today.
Ooh.
Because this one is based in Togo and Ghana.
Okay, that's not the greatest place to hide from the sun.
No, apparently it likes to stay there.
Okay, I can't relate to that. But what are we talking about? What's the thing in the sun?
What's the thing in the sun? Well, there's an irony to that because we are
apart from the moon.
Yeah, well, I mean, did you see the eclipse this week? Oh, it was great.
I did.
I got some great video.
I also did see a lot of horrible people who will probably be blind in the coming days and weeks, or maybe forever. But that's a general public for you.
That's the general public, and that is not our listeners because you're all intelligent individuals.
You are the elite.
Well, we know that
You're
because you're listening to our
else.
podcast.
And we are still better than you, but you are better than all the others.
Well, you got to catch up.
There's a pecking order. Yeah.
Well, no, like I say, the sun thing was quite an interesting kind of conversation because we are going to jump back into the world of vampires in a weird way.
Vampires?
Yeah, normally vampires tend to be... Well, I was going to say,
Dracula was situated in Ghana.
yeah, it was a relocation program, witness protection.
I see.
No. I was going to say, normally between the two of us, we kind of bounce between it, but it's vampires are more your kind of thing. But then I thought, no, actually, I've done quite a few vampiric-like creatures.
You keep saying that.
So
I've done vaguely vampire-related things a couple of times, and suddenly vampires are my thing.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure how you arrived at that conclusion, but...
Well, I mean, you kind of started off with vampires a little bit to a certain degree, and I've kind of jumped in here and there, but I don't know. It's the office scuttlebutt. You're normally the vampire person. As far as anyone goes, Chris, the vampire person? The one who gets tricked by vampires and usually probably eaten by them in some way.
That's fair. That's fair.
But no.
Nobody is as surprised that I am still alive than me.
I mean, that's a common trait, I think, between the two of us. But yeah, so today we are talking about kind of a vampiric being called the Adze. Have you heard of the Adze before?
Can't say that I have. I know Adze Schröder, but that is a very niche reference for about 1.5 people.
I was going to say, I don't know it.
It's a German comedian, so I would be very surprised.
Ah, I didn't know you had them.
Yeah, they're rare. They don't have anything to do.
No, okay, so yeah, the Adze is an interesting kind of vampiric creature because it is also a shapeshifter, as quite a few of these kind of vampiric things that we've come across are, really. like the Mananangle kind of thing that I brought up, and things like the Chon Chon and all that kind of stuff, and they tend to all have some kind of like shape-shifting ability. And if you think back to like what we colloquially, at least in Europe, see as a vampire, they tend to come from like that Dracula kind of thing. Yeah, the sparkle as well. That's more of a recent kind of thing. But it's that whole idea of they've always had this ability to change into different animals. But this one, the Adze, is a interesting vampire in that it has a very limited shape-shifting ability.
Okay.
But before we kind of get into that, I should probably tell you where the folklore about it comes from.
Yes, please tell me.
So, the Adze is, or the Adze, I'm not really too sure exactly how you say it. There's not a huge amount of information when it comes to folklore about them, and they don't really like to. They don't really like to tell us their names, if that makes sense.
We can't have inaccurate pronunciation on this podcast.
Who said? Why start now? But they've come from the Iwe people. It's the Iwe kind of folklore, which is a set of individuals, or a kind of like a culture, is the word I was looking for there, that is quite prevalent in Togo and Ghana specifically. But yeah, they are kind of the ones who brought the Adze into their folklore, or at least the Adze tends to pop up more in their kind of folklore and their history. So, in the wild, the Adze take the shape of like fireflies, mosquitoes.
Okay, I did not expect that.
They tend to take the shape of those like very, very small like insect-like creatures, or they have been reported as quite literally just a very, very small ball of light that can, in the same way that you might consider a firefly, in a way.
Okay.
So
fascinating.
They tend to.
I mean, I guess the mosquitoes make sense at least, sucking blood and everything.
Exactly. That's kind of where, at least from the folklore kind of point of view, and when people have tried to come up with reasons for why this creature is in mythology and all of that, you're talking those kind of African kind of countries, mosquitoes, big problem. Yeah, we'll kind of get onto that and the significance in the culture a little bit as we go along.
So is it one Adze is one firefly, or do they turn into multiple?
No, it's one is one. These creatures have an amazing ability to control basically what you might consider like their entire like biomass, their shape, because they can also present as human. If you manage to catch one and trap one, they present as human.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah, that's what I found quite...
So you wouldn't believe if there was 10 million fireflies.
God damn you, I hate you so much.
I had to work very hard to get there.
I could tell. Oh my god. Oh, if it wasn't for the fact that I've got limited time to record. The whole idea behind the Adze is that they turn into these very, very small little creatures that can get in through gaps in windows, get through door locks, get underneath doors.
Great.
All those small little spaces. And that, yes, they find people. They find humans. They have a tendency to go for the vulnerable, so children and the old, or even kind of women to a certain degree. And they drink their blood. And now, over time, the whole idea is that they drink their blood, they drink their life essence, and over time, that person sickens and dies. Very, very awful. They have a mortality rate, these creatures. They kill. Yeah. They don't sample from a small amount. They don't take, large amounts, but from many, many people. No, they choose someone, they kill them. It may take them a while, but they kill. Now, if you think back to kind of societally around Africa and all of that, especially if you think of the fact that these creatures can turn into mosquitoes, a lot of people,
Yeah,
when they've tried to
obvious
describe,
connection.
when they've tried to describe or at least explain the prevalence of Adze or Adze in folklore, it's that kind of, it's how they explain essentially like mosquito-borne diseases like malaria and things.
Yeah.
But the Adze are, as we know, a real creature because we're talking about them on this podcast.
Of course.
So they've kind of been given that little bit of a kind of pass, shall we say. And because they can present themselves as human, they're very hard to find. They're very hard to notice. They have one other extra little ability, though, when it comes to those that they have fed upon. What?
Okay.
Have you got any idea what that potential little ability could be?
Well,
it's kind of obvious in a way when you know it, but I'm curious if you can guess it at this point, Chris.
Well, my first thought was maybe they have the special ability to avoid these weird insect zapping things. But if you say it's in relation to the people they are feeding on, my first thought would be some kind of control, either mind control or other kind of manipulation. That seems like the typical trope here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So if they actually feed on
Yes.
someone and they don't kill them, or they're interrupted too early, or whatever, if the person doesn't die, there is a belief that the Adze can then possess those people. But they have to become a human first. They turn into their human form.
Mm-hmm.
And upon transforming to their human form, they then have the ability to possess that individual. And when I say possess, it's not 100% like easy to find in terms of the folklore and everything, but the way it sounds is that they actually physically enter the person, as in they possess that person directly. It's not like an influence over time. It's like, what you might see in like a movie or something, like ghost possession or something.
Okay. That sounds quite disturbing.
Yeah? Well, you want to know what's even more disturbing?
Tell me.
That appears to be true, based on our interactions with the Adze.
I was afraid you're gonna say that.
Yeah. This is why I find them...
So it's a total like takeover. Or can you avoid this in any way?
You can't really avoid it unless you don't get kind of eaten on, chowed
Okay.
on. They have to have tried to feed from you to be able to take you, for one.
Okay.
And
Or at least something.
yeah. And they don't have like complete and utter control possession. They kind of enter a host and they have influence on that person. So when
I have to ask, how specifically do they enter a person? Because that could be either inconspicuous or it could be very, very horrible.
it's a very inconspicuous
or
one.
anything in between.
It's very inconspicuous, and to be perfectly honest, like even we are not sure exactly how they enter. We don't know if they enter through like some kind of mind thing. We don't know if they physically enter a orifice. We're not sure. It's one of those things where it's very, very difficult to see how they actually do it. But it just seems to be one moment they are there, the next moment they are not, and an individual appears to be showing signs of possession, or at least starts to exhibit subtle signs of possession.
Okay.
Basically, the only way that we can find out if someone is exhibiting signs of possession is that those individuals start to kind of show traits that would actually get them branded as a witch. And this is men and women, so it's not just a women-only kind of thing. But obviously, as you would probably guess from a lot of the culture, yes, women
So
disproportionately.
they suddenly get educated and know about healing herbs and stuff.
Not quite that kind of witch, unfortunately. No.
Ah, goddammit.
So they influence the world very negatively, and they affect the people who surround the person who is possessed. So it tends to be that they become more jealous of individuals. It tends to be that if children around that individual begin to die, if someone old seems to survive while the young seem to pass away.
I see.
And one of the most interesting ones that I find, and frankly we've not really spotted this when we've kind of had possessed people and we've been monitoring them, but this feels like a cultural thing.
We're monitoring them.
Oh yes, yeah, don't worry, we'll get onto that.
Not helping them, just keeping an eye on them.
You'll understand why in a minute.
Okay.
Basically, one of the things that kind of came up in the folklore is that if you're poor and you envy the rich, you're possessed by an Adze.
Yeah. How much time do we have? Because I have things to say about that.
I mean, I'll give you 1 minute. Go.
Okay, so speaking of blood-sucking individuals that are a plague on society. No, I think maybe we can make a special episode out of that one, out of my manifesto, but I think we should maybe just keep going here.
Yeah, no worries. As you were kind of talking about, yes, we monitor people that we have, identified as being possessed by an Adze. Mostly because there is actually no way that we are aware to kill an Adze.
Okay. Does that also mean there's no way to get them out of a person?
No.
Is that the problem?
What we do know is that Adze are active creatures. They do not like to be inactive. They like to feed. They like to move around. They don't like being stuck in places. Now, there are two ways in which you can save a possessed person, or at least in the folklore. First one is, well, both of them work in a similar kind of way. Both of them are you have to encourage the Adze out of a person.
Okay, so it has to leave voluntarily.
Yes, basically. Yeah. And I don't like doing that. So, obviously, when Christianity came to the region...
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, basically...
Nothing good can come from that sentence.
Yeah. The Iwe people didn't kind of convert wholeheartedly straight to Christianity and give up all of their beliefs and all of their views and all of their folklore. They kind of incorporated into it. So obviously, if you believe someone is possessed by an Adze, then basically prayer. You pray the demon away. You pray the devil away, because the Adze became basically an analog for the devil in their culture when Christianity kind of came in. So if you wanted to get rid of the Adze, you prayed and you prayed.
Christianity basically invaded a cultural being, so to say, and started to control it.
Yes, Christianity is an Adze. I kid. If you believe Christianity in a positive way, go nuts. If you believe it in an evil way and a controlling way, then as far as I'm concerned, you're an Adze.
Get fucked. Yes.
But yeah, so it was the idea was that you prayed and you prayed on that person. You know, you trapped the possessed person and you removed the influence, and God would intervene.
Basically, the Exorcist.
Yeah, basically, in a way. In the old folklore, though, of the Iwe people, you had the Adze. The only way you could do it was you trapped the possessed person.
Yeah.
And you made it so intolerable for that person, for the Adze within that person, and you gave them what was, and I've not quite 100% understood exactly how this works, but you gave them a quasi-human thing to enter instead, and then
Okay.
when they entered that, you killed that person, and that would kill the Adze.
Okay, so if you put them in a bad poetry slam and put a sex doll next to them.
Well, it's more to do with just this whole idea of what the hell is a quasi-human, and is this
I
a
think
really
we've answered that question.
is this a really problematic view?
Oh, back to the billionaire class. Speaking of quasi-humans.
Oh God. I mean, I 100% agree with you. Unless a billionaire would like to give me a few £1,000,000, then I am 100%
sure.
on their side. Wink.
We can be bribed.
I can be placated for a short period.
Yeah.
Set up a standing order. No, I'm messing around, obviously. But yeah, so the whole idea with the Adze is that this is the only way to kind of get rid of them or kill them in some manner, basically. So it's quite a problematic view, as you would probably guess. You know, what do you consider a quasi-human? Essentially, it's basically put them in someone else and kill that person. Is what the kind of cultural method for getting rid of an Adze appears to be. The person who is possessed by the Adze must die, or the thing that is possessed by the Adze must die to get rid of an Adze.
Which also means it has to be alive in the first place.
Yes, so it's very concerning.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It opens the door to so many bad things.
Oh yes, yeah. So this kind of brings me on to my story to a certain degree.
Yes, I feared as much.
Yeah, so basically,
are you the quasi-human?
Some people would probably say.
Yeah.
No, basically, I got called over to assist some wardens in... I'm not going to say exactly where. You know roughly which country it is, but I'm not going to give you details. Yeah. And they were dealing with...
What's the Netherlands?
Well, they were dealing with an Adze in an interesting kind of sense, that some wardens out there, they'd been brought in to handle a situation. They identified it as an Adze. They identified where the Adze was coming in. They basically set a trap, and they caught the Adze. Now, unfortunately, they didn't act quick enough. The Adze turned human, well, you know, shapeshifted into a human shape, and possessed the individual that was that they were feeding on. You know, it was a 50-year-old woman, that kind of thing. And so they now couldn't get the Adze out of the person. And so they were looking for people just kind of help. And I had just finished up one of my most recent jobs, bit of imp business in the area. I was going to be traveling through. And, you know, I got a call from headquarters, and I said, yeah, I can pop in and, you know, see if there's anything I can do. I've not dealt with an Adze before, but, you know, I was probably in probably about the next 100 to 200 miles, I was the most senior warden in the area. So, you know, it unfortunately falls down to me to try. So I was doing my, you know, research on the plane as I was coming in, and well, like I say, I came across this problematic kind of idea of get it to move somewhere else and kill that thing. And so I told them to move the person to one of our facilities, put them, you know, isolate them in a cell, make sure it was a hermetically sealed room, so that there's no chance, because I don't know if they can. Well, they can obviously willingly leave the possessed person. I didn't want them to be able to, like, turn into a mosquito, crawl for a crack, and escape. So I was like, get them into this room, get them into a hermetically sealed room, and I will move over, and I will go and do what I can. And so went in, and it was a little bit like an interview between me and this Adze, because they don't have complete control of the person, but it turns out that they can speak through them to a certain degree. They got like minimal control to a certain point. When I was speaking to the old lady, she was just going, let me go. Not as in like let me get out of the room, but just let me, because I've had my life. I'm happy, etc.
If we have anyone in that age range listening, they're gonna be very offended. You call a 50-year-old an old lady.
Well, they'll only know it if I leave it in. But no, basically, it was. I don't know exactly why. I don't know why this person was like that. But basically, they were just like, kill me or kill the Adze. And to which I was going, no, I don't want that. So I sat there and I thought about the creature, and I thought, what is an Adze? Well, they seem to like being these like tiny little insect-like creatures.
Yeah.
So, what about what makes insect-like creatures?
Fly trap.
What makes insect-like creatures just kind of leave? What's awful? What do they hate so much?
Lavender. Squonks.
No, I'm not quite like you. I don't use
Raid.
squonks to. I don't quite use a squonk to win a fight.
Well, it probably would work.
So first things first, what I did was, like, as I was speaking with one of the wardens and just going like, what do they go along? What do they hate? One of them went bug bomb. I said, we're not gassing the old lady. This is not how this works. But it gave me an idea. Apparently, one of the most effective ways to get rid of, like, to deter bugs and various things is the smell citronella, the chemical citronella. So I went and I sent the team to go buy as many citronella candles as I possibly could. We came back with 50.
Sometimes our business expense reports look very strange.
Well, we came back with 50 of them. I put them on a tray. I lit all 50 of them. My God, did that stink.
Oh, yeah.
And
I believe that.
I opened the door very quickly, pushed the tray in, and just closed the door again very quickly.
So basically did gas.
It was citronella. Is citronella nasty? Does it? Oh, in fact, I need to know. Does
I mean,
citronella?
you just said it was.
Well, yeah, it's a smell and a scent that makes bugs go away, not people. People sometimes like it.
Okay, I see one problem with the plan, and that is it's a closed room, so it doesn't have anywhere to go.
I just wanted to get it out the person first. I need to actively make the Adze leave the person. Then I can deal with the Adze.
With the bug net.
Well,
Did I spoil it?
I'm not saying anything yet. What we then did was we kind of stood there and waited, and it wasn't shifting. Basically they could kind of like hide in a different part of the room. Citronella candles tend to be a bit useless, so that was a bit of a bust.
Oh,
so
didn't expect that.
Being a horsey person, one of the things we have is some stuff called fly spray. It's basically
So raid.
No, it's not raid. It's not kind of like killer. It's again a way
So anyway, I did end up gassing the lady.
No, it's a way to deters flies from coming onto horses, from like landing on horses and biting them and all that kind of stuff. So, well, first things first, we basically got some clothing in her size. We doused it. We basically like doused it all in fly spray.
Yeah.
Gave her the clothes to wear, and then I went in wearing a full hazmat suit because I didn't want the Adze to have a chance to get into me yet, and got her to cover her eyes and mouth, and all that kind of stuff. Walked in and sprayed her with fly spray, just basically dousing the poor lady in fly spray.
I'm kind of hoping that also didn't work.
Well, I mean, yeah, it didn't work. But now she was just a very, very fly spray scented lady. At this point, I got a chance to speak with the Adze a couple of times, and basically the Adze was going, "Why are you doing this? I hate this. Please stop." To which, obviously, my response was,
"Are you sure that wasn't a lady speaking?"
"Oh no, it was definitely
Adze." "Are you sure she was even possessed?"
Shush. She was possessed. The team had told me she was possessed.
Just, if I accidentally spoil more, just cut it out.
No, it's fine. But yeah, so I got a chance to speak to the Adze very quickly at this point, and basically he was going, "I'm not leaving." I went, "Well, if you're not leaving, no one's leaving. You're staying in this room. We will keep the lady alive, but you will not be able to influence anyone at all. You will be stuck in this room. And I know that I can't physically force you to leave. I'm going to make it so that it's so unbearable for you. You cannot, you're not going to live a life. You are going to be stuck here."
And that's where the squonk comes in.
No, I do not sacrifice squonks. I've told you this.
Well, it could have survived. Maybe.
No, squonks do not survive. We know this, Chris. But
they do sometimes.
But basically, the Adze started kind of negotiating with me, going like, "Okay, how do I leave this situation?" I obviously turned around and said, "You leave the person. You leave the person, and we will then talk about about releasing you back into the wild. But you obviously cannot do this anymore." He was saying, "I'm not leaving the person without knowing that I'm going to survive." And I said, "I'm not going to give you any guarantees about surviving until you leave the person." So we basically just kept on bouncing this backwards and forwards. And then it occurred to me, basically, the Adze wanted to escape somewhere. This person, this lady, ideally, I don't want this lady to live the rest of her life in a hermetically sealed cell, basically, just because this Adze wouldn't leave her alone. So, I came up with a cunning plan. I said to the Adze, "Okay, how about you get to possess me?
Okay.
I will then walk you out of here. You leave the lady alone, and you can go and live your life somewhere else, basically." I know this sounds like I'm very much just giving the Adze everything it wants here, but don't worry, there is reasons for this. Because of how dangerous they are as creatures. Like I say, we can't easily kill them without killing a person. And so to me, I was thinking from the starting point that I'm a warden of the CCI. I have a better understanding of this kind of situation than most. And I'm sure in some way there's a way to kind of win this. There's some kind of way to win this. But I don't want to keep involving a civilian in this situation. So, at the very least, this gives me a chance to buy us some time. And I don't know, at some point the smarty guys will work out how to do this. They will work out how to deal with this situation.
I know you like being bait, but that usually does not involve the creature actually getting you. That's not how bait works.
Well, like I say, this is what I was saying to the creature. We're not giving up on you, and I think you're evil, but you give up this lady, you get me at least. I'm stronger, younger, etc. I'm better food, shall we say? is what I'm saying here. So after a bit of discussion, and after the Adze was basically looking at, speaking with us,
the British man came.
Don't you shut it! Shut it! Shut it!
Better than the local people.
I meant as in I'm a healthier person. Nothing to do with culture or nationality. It is biology. This sounds worse.
It does.
I'm trying to look after a person here. Why did you have to bring this? It's you Germans that ruin everything.
It's true. That's what we do.
But yeah, so I kind of came up with an idea. And
Yeah.
we spoke, me and the Adze were speaking for a while, and then after everything after probably about a couple of hours of negotiation, it's agreed. So
Okay.
I went in and I stood, obviously on the opposite side of the room to the woman, and the Adze kind of escaped, like basically depossessed her, turned into a small fly, and head straight for me. Obviously, the first thing it needs to do before it can possess me is bite me. So I was holding out, like, I held out my hand with everything.
Is there more fly spray involved?
Kinda. So I kind of held out my hand, and the Adze turned into a mosquito and started flying towards it.
Yeah.
And it landed on my hand, and it went to go bite into the palm of my hand. What I hadn't told it was I was wearing basically like a little skin kind of cover thing.
Okay.
You know, one of the ones we've got from the security guys. It looks like your skin.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like a glove on your hand. It looks like your actual hand. It molds very, very closely. But it allows you to put something underneath it. Now, there's another thing that we have in horses. It's called fly cream.
I can see where this is going.
Yeah, on the palm of my hand, under this glove, I put a big dollop of fly cream. It stuck its proboscis, the little mouthy thing, into that fly cream, which basically stopped it for long enough for me to very quickly get my other hand, roll the mosquito up in the glove, basically like whip the glove off my hand, catching the Adze mosquito in the glove. I then very quickly tied a knot in the top of that glove and just held it there with the Adze in the glove, buzzing around, trying to escape. I got a bug net. I put the bug net over the glove so that it was all nice and stuck, tied off the bug net. Then, while looking, the Adze, I'm guessing in its eye, I'm hoping it's in its eye. I mean, everywhere I'm looking, I can see the whole thing, so, because it's a little mosquito. And I just went, I wonder, can I kill an Adze in this way? So I went. Turns out you can kill them quite easily if they're in the mosquito form and you squash them.
That's the kind of anticlimactic bullshit that you're here for, listeners.
Yeah.
Hit the subscribe button now for more mosquito killing.
No, I'm messing around, obviously. It didn't kill it, but it definitely... it's strong enough. It can't be just squashed. But basically, it stunned it long enough for us to then take it to the research guys. They now have it in a impervious little plastic case, and they're investigating and performing tests and learning as much as they possibly can about the Adze. Because this is, again, one of those creatures that, because we can't, we're not really any threat to them, we can't really, kill them. Is the way.
Okay, so now you're torturing it and trying to find a way to kill them.
No, we contain them. We contain them.
Okay.
And we've got a facility where a few of them live relatively okay. They're not happy, but again, we can't really let them out because they kill people. There is no middle ground. There's no, maybe you can live on them a little bit. They kill people. That is their life cycle.
Yeah.
And
so how do we feed them if they usually feed on humans?
Well, they like blood, so there's blood donations.
Okay.
We just can't let them eat people. We can't let them interact with people, basically. They're not happy, but at the same time, we just can't let them escape. And they're unwilling to change their ways. They're unwilling to, make deals with us like some creatures do about, for the freedom and all that kind of stuff. So we just have to contain them. Luckily, there aren't lots
Yeah.
and lots and lots of Adzes out there. We don't seem to know how they kind of reproduce. There doesn't seem to be anything that says, oh, they make new ones by doing this. There seems to be a limited number.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
they seem to be catchable. So
Do they have a natural end to their lifespan, or do they just hang around forever?
not that we've found. We've not found like a natural end to their lifespan apart from literally killing
Yeah.
a host. And we're aiming very, very hard. We don't want to try and kill hosts, is basically it. So
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But yeah, so that's the kind of story of the Adze, and that's my story of how I squashed an Adze like a bug.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
That's true professionalism right there.
Hey, they call me a senior warden for a reason.
No, sometimes the simple approach is the best.
Yeah, well, I mean, the rest of the team are going, oh, can we make an electrified net? Can we do this? Can we knock out the lady? Can we, there's just so many different kind of weird and wonderful ways. Is there a way to extract? Is there a way through psychology to extract? No, trick them. Trick them and squash them.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
You know, my worry the entire time was they would just turn back into a human and escape the net that way, but obviously that
No.
doesn't happen. So I guess they need the space in the first place to transform.
Yeah, that's the only thing that we've really found is that they need space to transform. They don't just go poof into something bigger and they can destroy things. I'm guessing that if it tries to, like, the box it's in is, the plastic box that is currently in with the research guys is small. You cannot fit a human in it. Like, under any circumstances. Good. I'm guessing if it tried to, it would probably, I don't know, cause itself serious pain and discomfort.
Unless it's a very, very small human.
Nope, they are full-size humans.
No, but, yeah. Fascinating and terrifying.
Yeah.
As if I needed any more reasons to dislike mosquitoes.
Exactly. But, while we're on the subject, Chris, where is a place that our listeners could go to dislike mosquitoes even further?
Well, comrades, if you want to talk to other people about your hatred for bloodsuckers and other scourges upon our society and humanity as a whole, then click the link in the description to join the Blink and Your Mythit Discord, because it is the perfect place for you to talk about episodes we have done, to talk about creatures you want us to do, because between Jack and I, we have been doing this for a while, and chances are we can tell you something about them, and just give us a shout to let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know what you want to hear about, because we can probably provide you with more delicious content that you can consume at 2x speed, because you don't have the patience for a half hour of us rambling along. But while they're doing this and bursting through our entire back catalogue, what else could they be doing, Jack?
So, what they could also be doing is they could be going and listening to previous episodes, because, as Chris talked about the back catalogue, we have quite an extensive one at this point. We have been doing this for a couple of years now. We've been telling you about the creatures you don't know that exist. And
back catalogue, it's so big.
It is. Our back catalogue is absolutely massive. I'm not sure if you can handle it. But you should try.
Throbbing.
Oh, God, that's just weird. You should go and have a listen and kind of go and find some creatures that interest you. Go and speak about them with your friends. Go and introduce other people to the podcast, because sharing is caring. And you may be sharing them their favourite podcast that they'll ever come across. Or you may be ruining their day. So, feel free to share it with your enemies as well.
Both are fantastic options.
Both are fantastic options.
People say oversharing is bad, but there's no thing like oversharing when it comes to our podcast.
But yeah, so go back, find creatures that interest you. You don't have to listen to them in order. Our podcast episodes are all evergreen. There's just a few little jokes that have popped up over time. But yeah, enjoy the wonderful feast for your ears that we have created over the last few years, and learn a little bit about how it's amazing that we are still alive to a certain point. But learn about
it's
the creatures
also
that you
amazing
don't know.
that we're still doing this.
It is. But yeah, so enjoy everything. And if you want a visual component, we have a YouTube channel that you can go and watch all our episodes on as well, with a lovely waveform visual that Chris spent a lot of time working on and creating for us. And just enjoy this in any way, shape, or form that you feel you need to. But yeah, in the meantime, though, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. So, goodbye.
Goodbye.